Welcome to today's edition of 3-Minute Halacha. We previously had discussed the principle of Ein Kiddush Ela B'Makom Suda, which governs the fact that whenever we want to fulfill our mitzvah of Kiddush, we need to be saying it at a meal. The question then arises, what about Shabbat morning after we finish davening and we have Kiddush in Shul? There's no meal present. So how can we have Kiddush? One solution could be that it's really not Kiddush. We're just making a bori priagofen on wine. But there's another halacha which teaches us that you're not allowed to eat before you make Kiddush. So if it's not Kiddush, how can you eat at the Kiddush? One answer was offered by Rosh Ber Soloveitchik, who suggested that we rely on a double-level leniency in this matter. We rely on the fact that it may be that having some cake creates a meal, and it may be as well that you're allowed to eat before Kiddush. Because of those two maybes, Soloveitchik said that when it comes to Kiddush and Shul, if you have cake, you're allowed to eat. Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, however, disagrees. And he says that cake actually is in place of bread and does fashion a full meal. And therefore, if you make Kiddush and you have cake, you have fulfilled your obligation for the second Shabbat meal. Interestingly, Rav Shlomo Zalman's position, as quoted by Rav Avigdor Nebenzahl, is that you should take 2 pieces of cake at the Shul Kiddush. Why? Because just like on Shabbat, we have 2 chalot, we have lechem mishnah, so too we should have the 2 pieces of cake, which are in place of the bread. However, Rav Moshe Feinstein said that's not necessary at all, because he said there's 2 elements to the Kiddush on Shabbos morning. One is we have to make Kiddush before you can eat. And the second is we have to make Kiddush where we're going to be eating a meal. Therefore, when we make Kiddush in Shul, we're fulfilling one of the 2 elements, and you're allowed to eat. But when you go home afterwards, you have to make Kiddush all over again before your regular Shabbos meal. The interesting implications between these 3 positions are that according to Moshe Feinstein, you wouldn't have to have mizonot. You wouldn't have to even have a piece of cake. And that's the position in Orach Chaim, the 4th volume, the Siman Samach Gimel. You could just have some fish and you're fine. However, according to Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, you have to have at least a kazayit of cake, and ideally 2. And according to Rav Yoshe Ber Soloveitchik, you have to have at least a kazayit of cake. According to Rav Soloveitchik and according to Rav Feinstein, you go home again and you make Kiddush where you're going to be eating. According to Rav Shlomo Zalman, you have fulfilled your obligation of your Shabbos meal at the Kiddush at Shul.